everybody. Welcome back to another podcast of the Launch Button, where we bring you successful entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate investors that have found their passion, launched their dreams, left that corporate world to do the things that they want to do and enjoy a better life. And as you know, we've had lots of great stories and lots of great people here. And we've got another great individual here. This is Rich, and Rich is talking about impact driven. And we always talk about helping people, right, get to that next level, and that's your impact. And the crazy thing is, you don't even know how far your impact goes because you help one person that helps another, and it just becomes that ripple effect that runs out and further and further and further with that. So we're going to talk today about how Rich started in the corporate world and then left and formed his own business, and then he really don't want to do it, but his friends kept saying you're really good at it, and then he's like, okay, I guess it's my calling, and you got reinforcement from a higher level. So Rich, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about your story and how you got started into the path of driving down impact-driven publications.
Wow, Hugh, thanks. It's great to be here, man. I'm really glad to be with you, and this is going to be fun. So, I will just go back a few years. I'm the executive vice president of a high-tech ad agency with partners in 21 countries, certified branding consultant, and I'd studied marketing in school, and I'd done all kinds of marketing, creative business as a kid. But the pinnacle of the career was about 17 and a half years being an exec VP, partners all over the world. I was addicted to it. Matter of fact, at 50, I mean, literally, the essence was teaching big companies, executive teams, that branding is a process. It's steps. And they go, whoa, I thought it was airy fairy, malarkey. And you go, no, it's step. Just like you build, pipelines to a jungle, or you build this factory, it's step. And really good at it. I was addicted to it. So
when you say addicted, break that down for people.
Okay, I was doing all-nighters.
All-nighters, to the helping people.
Yeah, all-nighters at 50. Okay, I was addicted. So I decided then the helping people in the big boy branding, where the helping people is what they want, market share, they want a strategy, they want strategy congruence, and so it's more money, it's more those kind of things. If they're public, there's those issues. I was really good at it. I really loved it, but I thought I was headed to a heart attack and dropping off the planet. So I changed my prayer, Lord, I'm going to reshape my life to, show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. And I started listening. And frankly, one of the things you don't know, I went into real estate, but for my own account. So I learned how to be a lease option. I helped people do lease options, and my heart started taking over because I was helping people get houses they couldn't get houses. So I was stepping into purpose without really thinking that I was stepping into purpose. So, I mean, I was in a lot of people's inner rooms. I studied commercial deals and a lot of real estate. So you and I could talk separately about that. But that's because I didn't work for the branding agency anymore. But people started asking me to help them with their individual brands. And when I started doing that to help some individuals that I knew well from my networks, I realized that the process of helping an individual pull from their heart, and I'm going to say an individual who's impact driven. In other words, they have an impact or impacts they clearly see making, and they want to make on others or on an industry or on a company but it's about the impacts. And when they're impact driven, pulling from their heart, those impacts that they clearly see making when they thrive, and the types of people that they really want to impact, realize that doing that literally reframes how they see the purpose of business from money to impact. And it happens faster because when you define those people and those impact, you can define the brand you must become. You can create unique language that transfers energy. You can create categories of expertise that only you can say with gravitas. It's like, who talks like that? When you hear branding talked about in the world, it's usually some marketing service person selling you something. But so here I realize I'm sitting in a choir loft when I got the download. It's like, oh my God, God puts the desire for impact in people's hearts. This is God's work. It's not even my work. And that's how I realized I was created to do this. So I'm one of those lucky people that's doing, and you'd have to persuade me otherwise. I don't think you would be able to. I'm doing exactly what I was made to do. I get to do this work. And so there's a lot of stress when you're running a high-tech ad agency and you got partners all over the world, big, big companies with big, big money. Today, I work just as many hours. I don't do all-nighters again. I'm not doing that anymore. I got over that. No, 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 no. Sorry, sorry, sorry. I've been married for 47 years and 51 Valentine's days. I'm one of the luckiest men on the planet. And I have a faith that just gets stronger and stronger. And I help entrepreneurs and professionals step into purpose. Our businesses are not why we're here. They're vehicles. But we're all here for a reason. We've all been given gifts. And frankly, one of the big things about impact driven brand development languaging and is that you can create, we'll call it an umbrella brand that is the highest level. This stands for the highest level of what you stand for and what you're passionate about. You and I were talking about passion before, and literally bake that into the brand and have it articulate itself, how speak, open its mouth, what it says, how it looks, in ways that no one else can compete with it because it's so unique. And that's the way branding ought to work. You see, it comes.
So now when you say impact driven, I just want to break this down for everybody. So this is your host, User RC. Impact driven. Go ahead and type an I in the chat if you feel you want to make a change, you want to make a difference. As Rich said, it's not about the money. It's about the change that you can make or the impact you can have on somebody. And we sort of talk about that where you can help one person, they can help another person, and it changes all the way through. And you don't even know how many people you end up helping, right? And that's where you're talking about the impact, correct, Rich?
Absolutely. And so let's take the real estate area where a lot of your listeners are. So let's say you're a real estate investment advisor, or you're an investor yourself, or you're a multi-credential real. So you're a real estate agent or a real estate broker, but you're also an investor. And anyway, it's what's in your heart. If what's in your heart is helping families that haven't gotten their first house yet, or helping someone to plan their retirement by appropriately guiding them through building a real estate portfolio that will help do that for them and do it in an appropriate way. It's what's in your heart. So it's if the thing that's on your mind is the next dollar, you're not impact driven. But if you're focused on what you do, how what you do affects someone's or some company's life, and it's about what you can do, the impact you can make, that's what we're talking about. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be any area of real estate or finance. It could be you helping people overcome that they were molested as children. Can be someone who's the director of diversity, equity, inclusion at a major law firm. These are all clients of mine, and they're all individuals, or software integrators that want to make companies the next, intelligent enterprise. It doesn't matter if you're impact focused, if you're impact driven. Your brand, the way you speak, the way you say what I stand for, and maybe an entity you create can reflect that with such a foundation of clarity, because clarity is the missing piece. Right. With such a foundation of clarity
and people aren't often clear on their goals, their mission, their passion, right? We talked about it in the Launch Button book there, that they can go ahead and help find that and then really drive that into your business, right? So Rich and I taught the same languages here. You hear it slightly different, but it's being able to, see the mindset shift. People ask me why I do what I do, and I think I know why Rich does what he does, because all of a sudden you see that light bulb go off in somebody's head and they can get to that next level. They can, that little change can have a huge impact on that.
Right? What we learn is, and this works in what you do and what I do. When you get someone to focus on whom they we use the term, have your heart show you want. Don't have your head show you. It'll get all screwed up. What one do your heart give you first? A person you can, that single mom with a special needs child, she's probably in her 40s, and she's concerned. That couple that's just before retirement, the person that just got their first job, whomever that person is, or one of those, because you can have many. I don't use jargon that says you need a micro niche and all that fancy talk and who's your blank. You have a lot of them, but you take them one at a time and you say, who is that? And what are the levels of impact that you clearly see having? How high does it get? Do they literally end up giving back to the world because of the gift you get, because of the work you did, or do they just reframe how they see things? And you write that down. It is a foundation of clarity that people end up saying, wow, I can't believe I got so much clarity. I needed the clarity. I can't believe I've gotten not only so much clarity, but I'm like the champion of my own brand. People start talking like that, and
Yeah.
they couldn't spell brand before, you know.
Well, and I think you hit something really big there, right? And Annie Leibovitz has a quote that I actually have it written over here that says, "Clarity prevents procrastination." Because if you're clear on what you want and you're clear on what you want to do, you know it. But if you're unsure and you're not clear on your brand, you're not clear on where you want to be, then you're like, "Oh, what do I do next?" Right? And you're
It's,
laughing over there.
it's
So
worse. It's worse than that. We use the term the 6 bad consequences. So if you don't clearly define and language your brand, you are going to experience the 6 bad consequences. When you do clearly define and language your brand, a lot of the things that are problems that people say, oh, we need better ways to say what we do, oh, we don't position ourselves to charge what we're worth, go away. But the 6 bad consequences, they're always there waiting for you until you bake that clarity into the way you say what you do and who you are, and the way it vision. And the 6 are confusion, misinformation. You don't get credit for what makes you outstanding. That is so common. God. Yeah, maybe competitors get ahead of you. You waste a ton of money, like more than you should have. And we all have to raise our hand on marketing. Marketing,
right.
like, let's get some leads. You know what? We don't have time for branding. We're just going to get some leads. We'll worry about the branding later. That kind of thinking will slide you down the slippery slope. But people don't know that. They think that's smart. They think it's
Yeah.
very practical, and they're suckers for the silver, for the shiny object. When people say, "Oh, this will help your branding," if you lit those people on fire, they probably couldn't tell you what makes a brand come alive. Like, what are the 4 things of brand? They don't know that. They just are selling what they're selling and using the word, branding. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And it
clear.
all it all it all goes down that path, right? It's a slippery slope because they're like, I just want leads, and then they get leads and they don't, right? The leads don't mesh with them all the way
Oh,
down there. Now, let me shift subjects just a little bit because Rich has had many careers. One of them, he was in a rock band,
I was.
right? And
We
even
knew
though
what we wanted. We knew what we
we
wanted.
knew what they wanted. There was a reason for being in the rock band. All right. I mean, I was a bartender. There was a reason I was a bartender. Like, not necessarily for the money, but there's other reasons that we all had at those times, those stages of our lives. But it actually opens up your eyes to lots of different things. So, from the rock and roll brand, from the rock and roll band to the impact driven brands, right? How did that experience of being able to tour, be on stage, allow you to sort of open the door? Because everybody on here has different backgrounds, different things that they did, and different passions. How did that allow you to truly help you define your passion and launch what you're doing now?
Wow, that no one has ever asked me that question before, but I will tell you that there are a couple of common denominators. Let's take the word harmony. Um, I- I'm a violinist, and I sang. And I'm not a guitar, and it was more Crosby, rock, country rock, Eagles kind of than rock band, like hard rock, right? So
Yeah.
it's a little more gentle, but there was more. There's a lot of harmony. Harmony is one of those things that is pure nature. If you ever have sung in a choir and you blend your voice with another's, you can't do that by yourself. If you play in a Messiah orchestra and you're surrounded by all the singers and you're here, all the vibration in harmony takes your experience of life to a whole nother level. When a family is in harmony, it's a beautiful thing when we're in a relationship that's in harmony. So that's one of the common denominators between the musician and the branding consultant, branding guide mentor. It's not um Okay, so on my media guest one sheet, I'm going to have to quote this. It says, Rich is a wonderful, outstanding media guest. He is the most heart-centered, has all these wonderful, and it says, and it's not about branding. The branding consultant you'll ever meet, but it's not about branding. So what it's about each of us gets the opportunity to make the most significant contribution we can to others' lives while we're here with the gifts we've been given. Praise God. That's where this is going. So many people think branding is very mundane and very worldly. Some people think it's, advertising, tricky. But what happens here is our businesses are not necessarily why we're here, but they are a vehicle. When you use branding done the right way from inside, so it's purely authentic and you just resonate and it feels like the most comfortable pair of shoes, not some superhero uniform you had to put on because somebody came up with some tricky idea. It's the most authentic feeling thing you can, when you do that, when you're at that level, your impacts come faster. You get to the impacts faster, you get to the abundance faster. You're attracting exactly what you want to attract and what you were meant to attract. And it creates a platform doing this branding for your business, for your work, from which it's easier for you to step into your purpose. You might end up doing things outside of your thriving business that make impact, 6 months of the year. We're bigger. Our power individually is way bigger than we ever think it is. And we all have that God-given power, but many of us just hold back. And when we don't, and when we get that foundation of clarity that's based in what we see, we feel we can do with when we make impact, it opens those doors for us to be in harmony with not only ourselves and the relationships we form in business and so forth with our clients and with our colleagues, but with our creator and with why we're here. So that's why this guy's back in branding after I quit at age 50. How's that?
But no overnighters. So you only get them during the day. All right. So let's just be clear on that, as we like to have some fun here. So from musician to branding to no overnight work anymore, right? That's a nice thing. You get to set the boundaries. You get to set what it is. But a lot of guys, you hear him talk about how he found the passion, how he thought, Brandon wasn't for him. He quit. And yet you can just see him light up when he talks about Brandon. You can see the smile. You can see the impact. You can see him being here today on this with other things going on in everybody's lives, busy schedules, and yet here he is today. So
I know
type a
what
big
it
B
means
in the chat.
in these people's minds. I know what it means because I've watched them for the last 8 years emerge with something they didn't have clarity on, and now they have such complete clarity and they're flowering and they will touch so many lives, and I just get chills down my spine, and so do they. That's the world we want.
A bigger impact is what most people want, and sometimes they need a little coaching, a little help on how to get there. So we're gonna have a nice little free opportunity to get a hold of Rich and be able to get a consultation with him in the show notes. You guys will be able to do that. Hit the follows, hit the likes. Rich, we want to appreciate you for your time here today, being able to share your wisdom and be able to talk to people that, Brandon's not just marketing. Brandon is what you want it to be, and to have the impact that you want to have locally, globally, or just in your community, right? It could even just be with your family and your friends, whatever that happens to be for you. So as we always say here at the Launch Button, don't stop. Keep taking one more step and you will lead to success. And then you're going to hit your goals, your dreams, as long as you keep going. Just never quit. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Launch Button Podcast, your gateway to unlocking your true potential and pursuing your passions. Don't let the journey end here. For more empowering insights, valuable resources, exclusive content, and free giveaways, visit www.thelaunchbuttonpodcast.com.